no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Before we get into today's show around the latest news and rumors around the Raiders, where guess what? We're talking about Julio Jones, talking about a UDFA player and a player that the Raiders signed yesterday. Today's show is presented by my good friends Pandasups. If you guys are looking to get into the best shape of your life, if you're looking to, shed a few LBs, I'm looking at you, David Irving, you can go ahead and go to Pandasups.com and use code BURN to save 40% off. If you haven't tried their Thermogenics, it's their fat burner. It's the best fat burner on the market. I promise you. I literally use it every day. And in fact, I'm going to use it today on today's show. All right, y'all. So let's get into today's 3-pack of Raiders rumors. Julio Jones to Las Vegas. Does this make sense? Before I give you guys my answer, I want to know from y'all, how many Chucky heads? Julio Jones, does this make sense? If you're sitting there like, yeah, Mitch, it does make sense, give it 4 Chucky heads. If you're sitting there like, no, this does not make any sense whatsoever, I want you to give it 0 Chucky heads. So how many Chucky heads? Julio Jones going to Las Vegas. For me, dude, I am giving this one 4 Chucky heads. It's Believe It, baby. PFF put out there that Julio to Vegas makes sense, and I 100% agree. In fact, I'm actually starting to wonder why so many people don't want to see this man in silver and black. When I was doing this show before, we got into the news and rumors, it was like 80% of the people said yes, 20% of the people said no. To the 20% of people saying no, at least tell me why. He is still a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League when fully healthy. And if you're telling me right now you can get Derek Carr a true number 1 receiver, why don't you go ahead and do it? Because I'll tell you what, I love Ruggs, I love Edwards. If Carr doesn't put up significantly better numbers, he might not get extended. So if you're a Derek Carr fan, this helps you end up doing that. There's going to be a lot of people out there like, well, Mitch, he played in only 9 games. You know what? You are 100% right. But in those 9 games, he still averaged 85 yards per game. Can we not realize how good that is? And sure, maybe Matt Ryan has lost a step here and there. But one guy that has never lost a step is Julio Jones. And I get it. 51 catches, 771 yards. But that's one season. And for everyone out there that's saying, oh, he's starting to fall off, he's washed up. And in what world is Julio Jones washed up? In 2019, I don't know, that's pretty damn good production to me. 99 catches, almost 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns. What about in 2018, right? 113 catches, over 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns. Now, some people are going to rip on his touchdown production. Okay, I get it. In 2017, only 3 TDs, so I wasn't wearing the Show Me the TDs t-shirt very often. But I'll still take a guy that were in 2017 and 2016 had over 80 catches and over 1,400 yards. And just in case, I know this is not going to happen, but can we not forget that this man had 136 catches in one season, over 1,800 yards and 8 touchdowns? I know there was a lot of people out there that hit Julio Jones with the stigma that he's injured a lot and that he doesn't play. He's played in over 14 games every single one of these seasons. Sure, his most recent year he played in only 9, but when he's out there on the football field, he's a damn good player. And let's just hypothetically say to all those people out there like, oh, he's washed up, he's old. If this man would have played a 16-game schedule, this is 91 catches, over 1,300 yards, and 5 touchdowns. These numbers are based on what he did in 2020, and I basically just projected them out for a full 16-game season. The other reason why you absolutely go out and get Julio Jones, it's the price tag. Now, if he's traded here, right, you're probably going to have to give up at least a second-round pick. Atlanta says that they want a first-rounder, but I actually don't think that they're going to get a first-rounder at this point. But if you're telling me right now I can get a player of Julio Jones' caliber and pay him $15 million in 2021 and then $11.52 in 2022 and 2023, that's phenomenal value. It absolutely is. And in terms of how good of that value that is, here are the highest paid wide receivers per year. The reason why you see Julio Jones on this list is because that's how much money he would make for the Atlanta Falcons. Because if the Falcons were to trade him, they'd actually have to eat some of that money, and that wouldn't cost so much. So if you're telling me right now I can get Julio Jones for $5 million cheaper than Keenan Allen, for $5 million cheaper than Amari Cooper this year, and if I can get him for $9 million cheaper the next 2 seasons, what are we even talking about here? Because he's no doubt your number 1 receiver. You pair him with Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards. Hell, if I'm Bryan Edwards, there is no other receiver that I would love to be able to learn underneath than Julio Jones. And in terms of Henry Ruggs, you want to talk about opening up the offense? Hell yeah. Henry Ruggs Hunter Renfrow, and it's also going to help the running game, and it's going to help Derek Carr. So as you can see, I'm fired up about this because he's a great player. And I get that some of y'all want to see Ruggs thrive and Edwards thrive. Man, shit, I do too. But if you have an opportunity to get one of the best damn football players in the league at a position that you still kind of need, why the hell wouldn't you do it? So if you want him on the team, what I want you to do is go spam Julio Jones down in the comments. If I don't see like 500 Julios, then I didn't do my job on today's episode. So if you want Julio Jones in the silver and black, I want you to go ahead and spam Julio. Now, if you love the Las Vegas Raiders, and if the Raiders do go out and make a trade for Julio Jones, hell, I might have to go get some Don Julio on this bad boy. Subscribe to the Raiders Report, the real Raiders Report on YouTube. Let's just get that clear. We need 209 more subs to hit 79,000 subs. Let's get to 79K by the end of, heck, I think we can get it honestly in the next 2 or 3 days. So if you guys love the show, if you're a diehard Raiders fan, hit that big red button that says subscribe. Let's go to the next player here. Dillon Stoner, and this is the name where if he makes the team, there's not many jerseys that I might go out and get. I think I might go ahead and get this one since we didn't go ahead and get Malik Hooker. Is Dillon Stoner, UDFA out of Oklahoma State, going to make the 53-man roster? I'm going to give it only one Chucky him. I'm going to say it's a small shred of truth. And in terms of how likely it is for a UDFA to make the team, usually, it's not very likely. The reason why I'm going to give this a one Chucky head is because in the offseason, you never know what can happen. I will say this, the only way that I think Stoner does actually make the team is if there's a significant injury to somebody above him. Now, some of the players that are above him are like a guy like, I don't know, Brian Edwards, I think, would be over him. John Brown, Henry Ruggs, Zay Jones. When I did my 53-man roster projection, I had the Raiders keeping 6 players. If one of the Ruggs, Brown, Jones, Edwards, Renfrow, or Willie Snead go down, then sure, you have an opportunity here for Stoner to make the 53. In terms of making the practice squad, I really think it's going to come down to him, maybe Keelan Doss, Marcel Aitman could be on his way out as well. But out of all the UDFAs on the offensive side of the football, I'm starting to think that Stoner does have the leg up. And the initial report, and the biggest reason why we're talking about this, is because Vic Tafer of The Athletic said that he's been looking good and that the Raiders are excited about him. All I do want to say is this, though. We do have to pump the brakes a little bit because this happens every single year, and I appreciate my tweet that went viral that said the Raiders are high on Stoner. I mean, come on. That was just too easy. I'm absolutely dunking on that. All right, y'all, so will Stoner make the roster? I want you to type 420 for yes. Obvious reasons. Or I just simply want you to type N for no. So be honest with me. I know that this is a young player. I know that we're already starting to get into the offseason hype train. Like, I love this time of the year. But we do sometimes have to be real with ourselves and be honest with ourselves. So is Stoner going to make the roster? 420 for yes, or I want you to type N for no. Now, today's show is presented by Pandasups, and I'm excited, y'all. They just released some of their new products, their Thermogenics, best in the biz. If you haven't already tried it yet, I got the pink lemonade right here, and it's really awesome. Go to Pandasups.com, and I want you to use code BURN, where you can save 40% off. So usually, I don't get products and I'm able to show them to you on screen. But I want to be able to show you guys what this stuff looks like, how easy it is to be able to use. So all you got to do is literally, it comes with a scooper. You take one scoop of it right here, and you just dump it into your protein shaker. Bingo, just like that. You shake it up real quick, and then you got yourself a nice little drink that you can go ahead and use. If you want to go ahead and try some other flavors, I believe they have 4 flavors available on the site as well. One of the other good ones is mango, which you guys are going to be able to see up here. And with the 40% discount code using code BURN, remember, you can cut these prices way down. So usually, this bad boy is $59.99. We're cutting that down with promo code BURN at $35.99. So everyone now, type cheers in the comments, and I want you to type burn, because if you're like me and you put a few extra LBs on, maybe when you shouldn't have, I feel like I put on the dating LBs. Is that what they're called? You get a girlfriend, you get a little bit lazy, and that's what happens. So cheers to Pandasups. Much appreciated for the Thermogenics. All right, y'all. Let's go to the next story here on the Raiders Report. We'll get into Alex Leatherwood, and is he going to be the starting right tackle for Vegas? I mean, come on, y'all. The Twitter account for the Raiders tweeted out that the Raiders are expected to start Alex Leatherwood. Yeah, of course he's going to start. I mean, you drafted him in the first round of the NFL draft. So guess what? Of course you're going to do it. Now, I get it. They're doing that because, he just signed his contract on Monday and blah, blah, blah. But let's face it. If you're drafting somebody in round 1 and you don't start them, shame on you. The only way I'll say it's okay to do that is if you have a veteran quarterback, somebody like a Derek Carr, and you want to go ahead and draft a younger guy where you can learn under him, i.e. basically what the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. We can go on and on and on. That's the only time it's okay. The other thing I wanted to be able to bring up here is what the Raiders' rookies' statuses are in terms of who are signed and who's unsigned. So far, Leatherwood's the only guy that's been signed in the first day or two, but that's to be expected where it's pretty common that the guys, drafted in round 4, 5, and 7, they get signed first, and then the attention goes to some of the earlier guys, where now they go with Alex Leatherwood, expect then for a guy like Merrick to get signed, also, Kuntz, and then Divine Diablo. I also put out a picture out on Twitter about all the Raiders linebackers getting together at Barcode Burgers in Las Vegas, best burgers in Vegas. Go check them out. But people are like, why isn't Divine Diablo there yet? It's because he still hasn't signed. So it's okay. Everyone be patient here. All right, one more thing that we're going to get into on today's show is Patrick Omameh. He recently re-signed with the Raiders, and that was on Monday. He spent time with Las Vegas last season, and after 6 games, Vegas decided to move on from him. He then signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. The bottom line, and the reason why I wouldn't be able to bring this up, is because you're looking at just a little bit more depth here, and also because the Raiders have only one more open spot in terms of being able to fill out a roster. Now, he is a little bit of an older guy, and not that I think he could potentially make the team, but when you have such a young offensive line, it doesn't really surprise me to see Mike Mayock, Jon Gruden bringing some of these older veterans that at least have had some experience playing on this team. So what do y'all think here? Will he make the 53-man roster? If you agree with that, I want you to type A for agree. If you're sitting there disagreeing with me, I want you to type D for disagree.